3, 5. Okay, for this example, we're going to expand on our blend container state switch example that we did previously. So check that out if you're wanting to know what the starting point is for this. I just mapped out a couple things that I thought would be fun to play with. So the first one, so we're going to have 3 levels. The first one's kind of a street crowd, kind of normal ambience. And then the second level is going to be a combined kind of, let's say we're in kind of chaos mode. There's some kind of battle going on maybe. So there's like screaming. So we're going to go into that for a second state. And I wanted to have 2 levels of the screaming actually. But these will both be for the second state. And then the third state is going to be kind of after the battle is over. And let's say we're kind of hearing nature sounds. So I'm going to have a few more nature sounds than this, but I did want kind of this background loop. So basically, all of these 3 are going to loop. And so I'm just going to make real quick loops for these. And I'll show you the quickest way ever to make a seamless loop. So just pick a starting point. And I want each to be, I don't know, roughly 20 seconds long, just for this example. That's about it. Don't need this. I'm not really even going to listen to it. So we pick that, and these 2 will crossfade into each other, and that is a seamless loop. So all we really have to check is just if we like the crossfade. Totally fine. So same thing here. Just going to loop these quickly. And I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm not even going to preview it because, we're just testing this out, but that should be a seamless loop. And this one has the same kind of underscore screaming with some higher screams on top. So that's a little sharp, but fine for this example. And this is our nature loop. We'll just pick a chunk of that. All right, to bounce these as level 1, level 2A, level 2B, and level 3. Okay, so we're going to start from where we left off the last example. Last example, we had our 3 temp calls, and we are switching between them. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. And I use the numbers instead of actual audio just so I can confirm that I'm hearing exactly what I think I should be hearing. So now that we have that set up, I want to put in some actual audio. So when we replace it, we're going to need to, redo these state values, but that should be easy. As always with these, I suggest to start kind of with the smallest element, confirm it's working, and then kind of move on to the next element to make it bigger. It's kind of one of the main tenets of programming is you kind of get the smallest unit working and then expand on that. If you kind of start too big at the beginning, too many things can go wrong. So in that spirit, we are going to be making a simple sound effect. So I'm going to call this level 1. And notice it's not even in this container yet. We're kind of have it in the root level just so we can implement it, make sure it works. I'm pulling in my level 1 BG audio that I bounced earlier. So now we can play it. It's probably a little loud compared to the other one, so I'm just turn it down a little. All right, that's our street background, and we want it to loop. So we'll just assume the loop is working. So we are good there. We can now drag this into our level parent, and we can get rid of this test one, and we'll look at our state just to make sure we know what we have to replace. So we want here level 1, level 2, and 3 will be not audible. So I'm going to go ahead and just delete this. So our new level 1, add a state group, levels, repeat those values. And so now when we play our level parent, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. All right, success. So I think the most important thing there is just by biting off little chunks at a time, confirm that they work, and then just build on it from there. It's a very easy way to kind of wrap your brain around what you're trying to do. So for the next one, we want to make it a little bit more complicated. And I had actually 2 backgrounds that I want to switch between. So I want this to be a blend container. And again, I'm not going to put it in the level parent we've been working on. I'm going to put it in my root. So we can just work on this one, get it working, then we can move it around. So I'm going to call this level 2. And I want to start with my debug numbers that I used before. So I'm going to copy, I'm going to paste those in there. So I have our level 2 with our 2 numbers. If we hit play, we should hear both of them because a blend container starts everything at the same time. Oh, and I did not hear them because we copied them, but we're keeping some of the values from the previous iteration. So we need to get rid of our state information. All right, because we're not using that now for this purpose. So I'm back to our level 2, 3, 3. All right, so we heard that. We heard the 2, the 3. We heard it's looping, so that is working. So now we can make our blend tracks. So go over here, new blend track. We're going to call it level 2 blend. Select crossfade, and we don't see our files yet because we have to go back here and add them to our blend track. And now when we go here, now we need to make a new parameter that's going to switch between the two tracks. And I'm going to call that fight intensity. All right, now we see our 2 tracks, and we're going to have to redo this part, but that's okay because we want to get comfortable with just making sure everything's working correctly. And I think it's okay to redo a little bit of this work for the comfort of knowing that it's doing what we think it's doing. So now we can actually test this. Make sure we're on the level 2 transport control and hit play. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2. That's working beautifully. So now I actually want to move this into our level parent. And it is going to be level 2, which this currently is. So I am going to say, I'm going to save this because we might use this later. I'm just going to move it out in case we need it later. So it is gone. from our level parent. So now level 2, we need to add a state level. So add state group, levels, and this is 2. So we do not want 1 to play. We do not want 3 to play. And so now when we click on level parent, we should hear, for level 1, we should hear the street ambient. When we go to level 2, we should be able to toggle back and forth between our 2 level 2 sound effects, looping effects. And then when we get to number 3, we'll hear the number 3 looping. So, part of 2 and part of 3 will be similar, but I think we'll be able to handle it. But before we test that, I want to get the windows kind of lined up. And I want to lock the control on this level parent. So as I'm navigating around, I don't want the transport to move around. So move this up so we can see it. Set this to level 1. Get in our level 2 blend track so we can change this parameter. Now we should be good to go. So level 1, street ambience. Level 2, we can go back and forth between our 2 and 3 backgrounds. Then level 3 is just 3 looping. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. All right, that's great. Now I think I would like to make our level 2 backgrounds the real ones this time. So we have all the hard work done. We know it works. Let's just go. I want to save this. We already have 2 down here. I'm going to save 3 as well, in case we need it later. So delete that. All right, so now I have my level 2A, level 2B. We are importing these. And just want to make sure that these loop, because we do want them to loop. Hit play, unlock that. Just make sure they sound like we 3, 3. Oh, my bad. We're still in level 3 state. Let's go back to level 2 state. All right, those 2 are playing. So now let's make our, we already have our blend track made, so we just need to add these 2 new ones to it. So some of our work is preserved. We're going to crossfade these. So as we test out level 2 here with our transport controller, and honestly, these are a bit too similar. They're too short too, but just for this example. So for now, to save a little grace, I'm going to add a voice parameter to it. So voice volume. So we can raise the volume on the later state. So make this one a little more subdued. We could probably use a roll off as well to kind of, do this part, but I think this will get the idea across. So the volume will raise as the fighting gets more intense. Let's hear what that sounds like. Yeah, I think that's good. We can definitely hear the change between the 2 states. So I'm good with that. All right, let's try this out. So our state information is all still intact. So let's click on level parent and same thing, pin that so our transport doesn't change. And I want to get this to the blend track. So as we're switching between levels, we can play with this a little bit. So we'll start with level 1. 3, 3, 3. All right, 2 done, 1 to go. All right, now that we have level 1 and level 2 set up, let's think about level 3. So I was thinking it would have our background loop, our background nature loop. So just a single wave file that, that loops, kind of like our first level, just a looping file, nothing fancy. But on top of that, I wanted to play just kind of random birds. So that would be kind of the dynamic element. So we're going to need a couple different containers to really get that going. So first, let's start with our blend container. And as always, we're going to put it in our root so we can get it working nicely before we stick it into our state level that we've been working on. So new blend container. We're going to name this level 3. Okay, so this next piece, it's going to be a sequence container because I want to have the bird elements inside that are just going to kind of play in a random fashion. So it's going to be a sequence container that within it is going to be the random containers that are actually holding the bird calls, or in our case, the 1, 2, 3 debug calls. So let's start with, we'll start easy. Let's just start with, go back to our root, random container. So this is going to be inside the sequence container eventually. So let's call it bird1. So these are our bird sounds. And unfortunately, we won't be hearing bird sounds. We're going to be hearing my voice. And I know we want to turn these off. They were looping before. And I think they had some state values as well. So, oops. So we want to remove the state values. So just clean these out. Just simple one-offs with numbers. So we have 2, 3. We need one more. I deleted the one before, so we got to get that back. So simple random container. We should hear 1 call per play. 1. I'll turn that down a little bit. 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's great. So now I actually want a few of these, and I want the sequence container to kind of, play them with some dynamic timings, so it doesn't seem like it's so scripted. So I'm going to make our sequence container, and so this is called bird1. So the sequence container is going to be the parent. So I'm kind of working backwards, but that's okay. It's going to be called birds. So now we're going to put, because birds, we're going to have multiple random containers of birds in here. So I'm calling this birds. So we want to, we won't hear anything yet because this is a sequence container and we need to add something to our playlist to hear it. So we want to add bird. We want to add bird to our playlist. So now when we hit play, 1, 3, 1. All right, that's what we expected to hear. So, but I'm envisioning once we hit this level 3, and this is triggered, I want it to keep sequencing and keep calling the birds, the various elements kind of over and over, because we're only going to be firing this off once. So we can't be 2 hitting this 1 time. So basically, we want our play mode to be continuous and then loop. 2, 3, 2, 1, 3, 1, 2. So that gets us part of the way there. I think I also want to, let's make a second random set now. This would be the second set of birds, which again, I don't have. My apologies, but we get to hear my voice even more. So I'm going to drag these into birds and make those sound effects objects. Inside of birds, we make another random container. Call it bird2. And so obviously in the end, we would have, a bunch of these, a bunch of little one-off bird things that we'd be hearing all over the place. Sound pretty cool, like once it all kind of, gets put into motion and plays together and be pretty cool. So now we should hear, so I'm going to turn on this random as well. It's probably a little loud. 3, 5, 2, 6, 1, 4. And so now when we click on our birds, because we're playing in a sequence, and we can play at random as well. I don't really want to, well, no, I'm not going to do random now. So we played in a sequence. It's always kind of going in order, but we're going to put some silence in here as well to kind of space it out. So I think in the long run it should be fine. So it's still looping. So once we're on our parent here and we hit play. 2, 5, 3, 4, 2, 6, 1, 5. All right, so we play it once and it loops. It keeps going, keeps playing everything forever. So now we need to add some spacing in there because, you know, unless you want real chatty birds, you don't want them going on forever. So we're going to add a new child, silence. And I'm just going to name this silence 1. So this is in our sequence container, so I want to tuck that right between those two. Pull that up. So silence is a built-in Wwise object, and so it's going to put some space between those two bird elements. And so the cool thing about this is that we can specify, we can set some random ranges here. So we're going to randomly set, like, I don't know, you know, probably you'd set it for a little longer. I'll set it a little bit shorter just so, you know, we can hear it kind of quickly. But, you know, you can really play with these values to see like what feels good. So now we have this in here, the silence, and honestly, we're going to put another one down there too. But let's hit play. 3, 6, 1, 5, 3. So you can see how when the first time we went from bird 1 to bird 2 was longer than the second time. After bird 2 goes right back to bird 1 because there's no silence. So we are going to copy and paste our silence and name it silence 2. Get back to our sequence, and we're going to tuck silence 2 right there. And same thing, we're going to give it double click on it to get to its values. I don't know, let's give it a little higher number. So we've got our sequence 1, 6, 3. All right, so that's working pretty well. So now this is our birds. That's all working how we want it. We want to tuck this into our level 3 blend container, and I think we are good to go. So we got level 3. It's starting birds and this level looping background at the same time. Let's see how lucky we get. 1, 6, 2. That's beautiful, although those are some 6-sounding birds. All right, so now let's check our state. Okay, we didn't do the state yet. So now we're good. This level 3 works just how we want it. We want to put it to our level parent. This is the big moment. Level 1, 2, 3. And I think we're done, so I'm going to delete this. I'm going to be bold. I'm just going to delete this. So level 3, we still need to set the state information on level 3. So we have our birds, our level 3 background there. So add state group, levels. So this is level 3. We don't want to hear 1. We don't want to hear 2. And I have a good feeling about this. Level parent. Start at level 1. Here we go. Oh, wait. Get our tracks in order. Going to pin that. Going to get on level 2 so we can hit our blend container a little bit. All right, here we go. Buckle up. 3, 5, 1, 4, 3, 6, 2. All right, that is a beautiful thing. That works awesome. The just most important thing to know is, well, one, just starting those little chunks, getting those little chunks to work, and then just building on those. So everything is exactly how you envision it as you're building it. And two, just know when we're doing it this way, everything's running at the same time. So once you hit that level parent, everything's running in the background, even if you can't hear it. So just kind of keep that in mind. Resources wise, maybe you want to do it that way, maybe you don't. But this is just a way to kind of do some state changes. Hope that was helpful. And, I had to go back and redo a few things because it was a lot to get through. So, I didn't even do it in one pass. So good luck, and let me know if there's any questions.